Hi witches! So today, because it is Friday the 13th, I thought we should talk about some superstitions that are just like a little bit witchy. So today's video is going to be pretty chill. So sit back, grab a snack, relax. We're going to talk about some superstitions. So if you are unaware, Friday the 13th is kind of seen as an unlucky day. You know, we have a whole franchise of movies about some unfortunate things that happened on Friday the 13th. But there are people who actually have a phobia of Friday the 13th, and the word used to describe them is frigatriscidecaphobic, which is a long word, but basically it just means that you are afraid of bad things happening on Friday the 13th. Now, one that I'm sure we all know and love and is very near and dear to my heart is the fear of black cats crossing your path and that being an unlucky omen. Now, I personally see it as a lucky omen, and I think a lot of people actually do these days. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of like, you know, up and down. But cats are super important to witches. I have a black cat of my own. His name is Jack, and he is a chonk, but we love him. I worship an Egyptian cat goddess, and in Egypt, cats were like very much revered, almost as like kind of like divinity, but really seen as like guardians or protectors of the home and hearth. But likely this superstition arises from Europe and like some old European beliefs that witches and their familiars, which were often said to be cats, I wonder why, maybe it's just women having cats around them because that's just a thing. And like in the home, cats are very useful at keeping away pests and vermin. But honestly, the thing that brought me and my fiance together was the fact that he posted a picture of Jack, like the black cat, on his Instagram story, and I commented on it, and then we just started talking, and now we're getting married. So I would say that superstition doesn't apply to me. I think Jack was like a little lucky omen, and we love him very much and give him lots of pets and treats. Next, for any of my satanic witches out there, or any witches out there who probably have heard of this, but the number 666 is often seen to be a superstitious omen. Now, in the book of Revelation, 666 is seen as the number of the beast, right? And it's kind of seen as this like mark of Satan, mark of the devil, or the end of times, the end of days. But some anthropologists have posited that the number 666 was actually a code written for early Christians who were being persecuted at the time. But these 3 sixes in a row correspond with like Hebrew letters that spell out the name of Nero, who was the 1st century Roman emperor. If you guys don't know about Nero, look him up. He was actually insane and like ruthless. He like killed his own mother and stuff. It was awful. But when I was in Rome, I got to see his like olden palace, and they were saying that like at one point it covered like 5/7 of Rome. So if you are unfamiliar with Rome, there are like 7 hills that kind of make up Rome. 5 of them were his, and the rest of the rabble just, I guess, were there. What? And then his like successor was just like, yeah, fuck all that. We're gonna turn everything into public works. Like, come on guys, like let's have clean water and like roads. Like, so it was all buried, and they are just now excavating a lot of it. So it's like really, really cool. If you guys want to learn more, look up Nero's Golden Hall. I was literally able to tour it. Like, I had to wear a hard hat. It was so cold. I was like underground, but they had this really cool like VR thing where you could like look around and see what it would have looked like back in the day, and back in the day, 2,000 years ago or whatever. And it was like really incredible from just like an artistic standpoint, from a like architectural standpoint, and from an archaeological standpoint. I was just like, I didn't want to leave. It was really, really cool. And if you ever get the chance to experience it, recommend. Moving right along, let's talk about throwing salt over your shoulder. And I didn't know that this was like a real superstition. I thought it was just something weird my grandma did, to be honest with you. The idea is that if you have extra salt, you throw it over your left shoulder in order to ward away the devil. It is said that throwing salt would blind the devil waiting on your shoulder there, perhaps. And I think this is actually kind of significant because in witchcraft, we do use salt as that purifying element. So whether or not you believe in like the devil as like, you know, the guy with the red horns and like the little pointy trident stick thing. Or if you're personifying, you know, the devil as like negative thoughts, you know, you're like cleansing yourself of that. I actually kind of like that. I kind of want to start incorporating that into my practice a little bit. So some superstitions I think are kind of interesting. I think that they could actually be used in a little bit of spell work too. So I'm going to explain that next in our next one, right? So our next superstition that I wanted to talk about is the broken mirror. So it is believed that if you break a mirror, you will have bad luck. And this actually kind of dates back to like Greek Roman times, and that story of Narcissus. In order for you to like purge yourself of this sickness, I guess, and like kind of come back to this state of vitality, it would take 7 years according to the ancient Romans. But you could prevent that if you took the mirror, gathered all the broken pieces, and buried them under the light of the moon. So, and that was supposed to neutralize it. Now, what I would do as a modern practitioner, if I did have a broken mirror, I feel like broken mirror pieces could really be used in like an excellent curse jar, if that is kind of something that you are interested in exploring. I feel like if you had like maybe a puppet or like some sort of like representation of like the target, let's say, and broke a mirror over them and then use those shattered pieces of glass, obviously being super careful, like do not hurt yourself for witchcraft, please. I'm not advocating that, but just how I would use it. I would then take those pieces and either put it in like a spell jar or like sew them into the poppet. I don't really use a lot of poppet magic. Looking at mirrors superstitiously, if I wanted to cause someone bad luck, I would definitely use broken mirror pieces in order to perhaps perform a hex or a curse. So 2 cents for me. I don't really do a whole lot of baneful magic. I just like don't have the energy for it, but I know there are baneful practitioners out there, so I try to keep that in mind. Next, we have our lucky penny. Now this, even though it is kind of a good thing, it is still a superstition that if you find a penny, good fortune or good luck is going to come to you. And this actually, it's really popular in like England and America, but actually originates once again from ancient Rome. Because pennies or coins, I guess at that time, are made from metal, not only are you a little bit richer, but sometimes people said that these pennies that you would just find, or coins that you would just find, were sent by the gods to protect those whom they favored, or to give abundance or what have you to those whom they favored. So I like to now think that all of the pennies and stuff that I've found are sent to me by the gods. I think that's really just like a nice thought, even if it's not true. I just think that's really nice. And finally, let's talk about the evil eye. The evil eye is a very common belief. You see evidence of it in the Mediterranean, in the Middle East, and in South Asia. And we commonly see like this symbol of a blue and like a blue circle with like a white circle and like a black dot in the middle. That's called the Nazar. So that is not technically the evil eye. So if you do see that, it's not the evil eye. That's not like a cursed item or anything. It's actually protection against the evil eye. Now the evil eye is kind of, or malocchio in Italian, which is very cool. Evil eye is usually described as like a really like intense like look with intention that is like cast upon somebody, right? My worst enemy, which I really don't have any, I don't have the energy to be in feuds with people anymore, but if I saw them like across the street and I was like them, you know, and like really meant it, like if I was like really hateful in my heart and was just like, I would probably come up with some sort of horrible fate in my head and just like intentionally cast that on people. And the reason that others like myself have a Nazar, or I have one in my window right now, it's a really cool sun catcher, or carry it on them, is because it is a symbol of protection, meaning that it will kind of deflect the evil eye back. So sometimes that is called like the evil eye because it is like meant to look like an eye and to like send back and protect against the evil eye, like that really intense look. In reality, the name for that symbol is the Nazar, and it is an open symbol so anyone can use it. So yeah, those are just some superstitions for this awesome Black Friday, Friday the 13th. Can you tell I'm tired? But yes, stay safe out there, stay spooky, my friends, and I will see you next week.